These are 15 games that define the childhoods of a lot of people, including myself. I have played these games for over 10 years and I've just recently earned the platinum medal for every single game. So I feel I'm credible enough to tell you guys some tips on how to get every single Wii Sports platinum medal. In addition, I'll be providing a difficulty rating from 1 to 10 so you guys understand my own point of view. So now, let's get on with the video. Tennis. The first training game is returning balls. You will need to successfully return 80 balls for a platinum medal. One thing that I do while playing which really helps is trying to hit the center line for every ball like this. It's really helpful for accuracy. However, do not look at the ball you hit, focus on the one being hit to you, or else this will happen. You might not think so, but the side that you swing actually matters, forehand and backhand, or else this will happen. This platinum medal is not the worst, but it's definitely up there. Difficulty rating? 8.6 out of 10. Next is timing your swing. This platinum medal requires 50 balls to go through the zone. For this game, you don't need to worry about forehand or backhand because you will always swing forehand, making this game easier. If you are right-handed, the ball will go to the left side when you swing early and it will go to the right side when you swing late. When the target is moving and getting smaller, you have to try hitting the ball in the right spot for the target to move itself to the ball. If you aim for the target rather than where it is moving, you might miss it, like this. If you know what you're doing, you should be fine, but the amount of time it took me to do this makes the difficulty rating 6.2 out of 10. Target practice. For this platinum medal, you will need to break at least 40 targets. The harder you hit the ball, the darker the wall will get, making it more likely for it to break and lower your chances of a platinum medal. You will also want to try your best to avoid hitting the same parts of the wall. The higher you hit the ball, the slower it approaches the wall, minimizing damage. And in order to hit higher, you will need to swing the Wii Remote upward while you hit the ball. With all of this in mind, I give this a difficulty rating of 7.1 out of 10. Baseball. Hitting home runs. You will need to get 5,650 feet for this platinum medal, which means you need to average 565 feet per home run. If you're right-handed, you should try hitting home runs to the left side for maximum distance, and if you are left-handed, you should try hitting home runs to the right side for maximum distance. One thing I have learned is you should not hit the ball directly to the center because I speak from experience when I say you can almost never hit a home run more than 540 feet, which is 25 feet short of the average. I personally find it easier to hit against overhand pitchers rather than sidearm pitchers, but that's your choice. Don't forget that the pitches will get faster as the game goes on, so be attentive. This is one of my favorite platinum medals, and I give this a difficulty rating of 5.3 out of 10. Swing control. In this game, you get 10 pitches to score at least 65 points. The score distribution goes as follows. Dark blue zone is worth 10 points, light blue zone is worth 6 points, white zone is worth 3 points, and a simple good hit in no zone is worth 1 point. This game is simple. For right-handed players, the earlier you swing, the more to the left it goes, and the later you swing, the more to the right it goes. This is the opposite for left-handed players. If you're struggling, adjust your approach. If you keep playing the same way, then the odds of succeeding will be the same every time. The pitch speed in this game is about the same for every pitch, so it's easy to get a feel of the game. Difficulty rating, 4.4 out of 10. Batting practice. This platinum medal requires you to hit all 30 balls in fair ground. It doesn't matter how far you hit it, you just need to make it a fair ball. Sometimes you might get lucky and the game will call a hard hit ball that looks like it's going foul, fair. There will definitely be pitches that look like balls instead of strikes, so you will want to time them so they could count it as hits. The really difficult pitches to hit are thrown only after the first 20 pitches, so you could get this platinum medal within 10 tries. If not, simply practice. Difficulty rating, 3 out of 10. Bowling. Picking up spares. You will need to successfully make it through all 20 lanes and you are only allowed 4 misses for the platinum. To speed up the process, I would suggest moving on only if you get through the first 10 lanes with no misses, because you'll need all the shots that you can get at the end. The best way to aim, in my opinion, is by using this method, because the ball does not curve too much and you can still hit the pins. If you want to throw the ball straight with no curving, you need to let go of the ball from the same release point without rotating your wrist, because that's how the game dictates curves. And this applies to all bowling games. This is how I approach the more difficult levels in this game. This one definitely takes practice and finding the best ways to beat each lane, so I give this a difficulty rating of 4.8 out of 10. Power throws. For this one, you need 700 pins for a platinum medal, and since each strike is worth double points, you will need as many strikes as possible. From my experience, I have found that a faster ball yields more pins, so my method involves releasing the ball at the lowest point and curving it. I normally find the best distance from the center so that the ball curves itself to the red first pin. The reason for this is because it's difficult for the ball to go straight when it's thrown as fast as possible. There is always at least a little curve on it. I highly recommend learning the secret strike, which can only be done on the last stage. You need to set yourself to throw the ball down the gutter, hitting a button at the end, which knocks all the pins down. I normally go all the way to the right, give a slight diagonal aim, and use this technique to curve the ball down the center. I have seen people get strikes by hitting the wall like this, but I find my way easier. Since you get unlucky sometimes when you throw one that looks like a strike, I give this a difficulty rating of 6.6 out of 10. Spin control. Just like in picking up spares, you need to get through all 20 lanes for the platinum medal. Rotating your wrist is necessary. When you rotate in a direction, the ball will curve that way. I found out that a ball will curve more the lower you release it, and the curve works better when you hit no barriers, so try not to hit them. However, there is one exception. There is a specific way that I approach level 19, which involves hitting a barrier. By applying a left spin and barely hitting the barrier, you can spin the ball more and it will hit the pin. Some of you may use different techniques, so only use mine if you're stuck. Also, practice your strikes, because it would really suck if you lost the platinum because of a strike. This one I would not classify as hard, but it can definitely get annoying. But the fact that there is only one pin per level, except the last one, makes this a tolerable game. Difficulty rating, 4.2 out of 10. Golf. Putting. Unpopular opinion, but I think that this is the hardest platinum medal by far. You need to make all 10 putts without a single miss. When you make a putt on a certain level, you should try to remember exactly where you aimed and how much strength you put on the ball. This is more useful in the second half of the game. Controlling your strength and remembering where you aimed for each level are essential if you want the platinum medal. There are many variations for each level, so you need to remember over 20 levels. Speed and aim must be precise because one slip up could mess up the whole game. There can be a lot of slopes that you don't notice, so I would suggest checking the terrain by pressing 1. This platinum medal definitely took me the longest to get, at around 3 hours, so I don't think anyone will be surprised when I say the difficulty rating is 10 out of 10. Hitting the green. In this game, you should allow fewer than 65 feet from the hole after 10 levels for a platinum medal. Depending on which level you're on, you can change the club that you use to see which one puts the ball closest to the hole. Similar to putting, there are variations of each level, and you'll need to get an idea of where the ball will roll, depending on where you aim. I feel that I need to specifically show you how to handle both variations of level 6, because I know I struggled on them when I first started playing. On this one, I used the driver and hit the edge of the bunker to slow the ball down near the hole. And on this one, I used the iron to hit the small area of the fairway between the bunker and the fringe to slow the ball down. I think that this one is hard but not too hard. Difficulty rating 6.4 out of 10. Target practice. You will need 800 points for this platinum medal. This means that if you're aiming for the main target, you need at least 6 shots to hit the 100 zone. One thing that works for me is swinging the Wii Remote not like a golf club, but like a hockey stick, because it's easier for me to control my strength. But you should do what's easier for you. Instead of this, I do this. The first 2 shots of the game always have no wind, so to make things easier, I would suggest only moving on if you get 100s on the first and second shot. If the wind is directly towards you or directly away from you, you should adjust strength. And if the wind is directly to the left or the right, change direction, but maintain the same strength as if there was no wind. If the wind is diagonal, do a little bit of both. This is definitely one of the harder platinum medals. Difficulty rating 9.2 out of 10. Boxing. Working the bag. The easiest platinum medal by far. You need 40 bags, which sounds like a lot, but once you get momentum, it's easy. The stronger your punches are, the more damage they do to the bag. And to save energy, you don't even need to punch. You can just flick the Wii Remote and nunchuck like the sticks of a drum. The game detects the remote, not you. You might need to lean at some points to make sure your punches land successfully. Since momentum is key for this platinum medal, the punches need to last as long as possible. Do this instead of this. This game is easy to master, so I give this a difficulty rating of 1.5 out of 10. Dodging. You need 85 points for this platinum. Okay, I will state the obvious. You can use the pause technique if you want, but if you want to win the platinum medal the right way, you should use these tips. The best way to approach this game is by looking at where Matt's hands go, rather than where the balls come from. It can significantly improve your reaction time in the game. Well, that's pretty much it for this one. It's a simple game, but it's still hard because you still lose a point for being hit. Difficulty rating 7.3 out of 10. Throwing punches. You need a score of 70 for this platinum medal. This is a pretty self-explanatory game, but it's easy to accidentally hit Matt, so you have to be careful, but fast enough to get at least 70 points. On this one, you might have to punch like the game wants you to instead of flicking it, because you might miss the target. If you somehow get 70 points with time remaining, just stop playing. It's easier to play it safe than risk hitting Matt. I feel like this game was supposed to be easy, but I still struggled a lot. Difficulty rating 7.6 out of 10. Well, there you go, guys. Those were just a couple tips on every single Wii Sports training game on how to get the platinum medal. Up there, you should see my attempts at getting these platinum medals for the first time. And I truly thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below what I should do next. Peace out.